We'd like now to invite a few of the politicians to the stage to say a few words. First, I'd like to invite Congressman David Price. He serves on the House Appropriations Committee and is chair of the Homeland Security Appropriations Subcommittee. He heads the House Democracy Assistance Commission, which he initiated to help strengthen parliaments in emerging democracies. And he has played a leading role in holding the administration accountable for conduct in the Iraq War. Welcome to the stage, Congressman Price.
Thank you, and good evening. It's great to be back at this occasion that we look forward to each year, and that seems to get larger and larger, and to include so many of us who are in elected office and leadership roles in the community. You are very generous and very hospitable to include us, to include the wider community in this annual observance. So I'm happy to be here. My wife is with me, Bo Mills, who runs our district office. We appreciate your hospitality. We look forward to this each year. It's also a time, this is also a time when we recognize as you have tonight, the growth of the Muslim community in the Triangle area. The people who have been coming in, the kind of contributions that you make to our life here in the Triangle, to education, to medicine, to business, to so many aspects of our life together. You are powerful advocates for strong public education, for strong economic policies that will create jobs and make our area prosperous. And you also call our attention to a number of issues that are of particular concern to the Muslim community. And in doing that, you serve the whole community. You provide a service, I think, in highlighting those issues and helping us deal with them in a straightforward way. Some of these issues do have to do with civil liberties and civil rights, and with the treatment that we give people in this country. And this video is pretty graphic. It reminds us that our country has gone through periods of history when people were excluded, people were discriminated against, and worse. I go to a lot of schools in our area, and one of the rituals that I go through as a member of Congress is often to present a flag to the students in the school. And I make the point, you could actually add this to this video. I make the point that the United States flag is one of the very few, maybe the only flag, that over time changes. Most flags are the same forever. But our flag changes. It has changed as more states have been added to the Union. One time I made the mistake of asking a group of students, how many stars do you think were in the flag when I was a little boy? And the answer I gave, I've never asked that question again. I'm not going to do that. But I do happen to remember when there were 48 stars in the flag, and some of you do as well. The point, though, is that America at its best is a country that changes, that learns from its mistakes, that learns from its missteps, and that embodies an expanding idea of what democracy is and what it means to include all people in our community. So we have some things in our history that we're not proud of, that we've had to overcome. In one case, the most striking case, of course, a bloody civil war. So this is a country that does have the capacity, I think, to grow and to change, and the Muslim community can contribute in a very positive way to that process, helping us understand where we need to improve and where we need to perfect our democracy, and we count on you to do that. I have limited time. I usually, in these greetings, bring some word about our House Democracy Partnership and our country's foreign affairs. We now have added 2 majority Muslim countries to the House Democracy Partnership. We're now working in Kyrgyzstan and in Iraq, as well as Lebanon and let's see, the list now is 7, as well as Lebanon, Indonesia, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Kosovo. And we're trying to attend very carefully to the Arab Spring and to the possibilities to be supportive and helpful as these countries find their own way. Dr. El Gamal has certainly been helpful to me and many others too in this community in understanding what's going on in Egypt. We know it's not going to be an easy or a straightforward path always, but that our country needs to appreciate these stirrings and this universal desire for liberty and for self-determination. And our country needs to figure out ways to be supportive and to be good neighbors as these countries find their way. So we do count on your community in many ways to help us become stronger and more democratic and more inclusive here at home, and to be sensitive to these situations in world affairs where our country needs to do the right thing and to, in the case of the Arab Spring, foster the positive development of freedom and democracy in these countries that have been denied it for far too long. So thank you for all you do, and thank you for welcoming us here tonight.
Thank you, Congressman Price. I would like to invite to the stage now Congressman Brad Miller. Congressman Miller is chairman of the Science and Technology Subcommittee on Oversight and Investigation. He also serves on the Financial Services and Foreign Affairs Committee. Welcome.
Thank you. The video was a powerful reminder that the work of making our nation a more perfect union is not done. There have certainly been shameful instances of bigotry towards Muslim Americans in the last few years, but the burden of history for racial hatred or hatred over divisions is one that is heavy on all Americans and all of humanity. It is true all over the world at any given time in world history. But it is a reminder that we need to continue to fight against that bigotry. I do appreciate the contribution. I think most Americans appreciate the contributions to our society of Muslim Americans. Cultural contributions, economic contributions, and on and on. And a contribution that is particularly important now, as David Price said a moment ago, at the time of the Arab Spring, when it's very clear that much of the Muslim world is changing and changing dramatically. Muslim Americans can make an important contribution in helping all of us understand what is going on in the world. Your president said that he favored a just American foreign policy towards the Muslim world. I think most Americans would like to have a just American foreign policy. The difficulty is knowing exactly how to do that and what that means. We're struggling to understand what is going on in the Muslim world right now. I think I know that I won't when there is a protester in any part of the world standing in front of a tank, as happened at Tiananmen Square 2 decades ago. I want protesting, calling for democracy, calling for reform. I want our nation to be on the side of the man, the protester standing in front of the tank, not on the side of the people who sent the tank. Too often, we have been on the side of the people who sent the tank, not the protester standing in front of the tank. Muslim Americans can help us understand right now what is going on in the Muslim world so that we can be on the side of the protesters calling for reform. Thank you.
I would like to invite to the stage North Carolina House Majority Leader Paul Stam. Welcome.
Thank you. It is a privilege to be here and a privilege to serve in the North Carolina House, and on behalf of the House, I bring you greetings. It was a privilege a year or two ago to work with Mark Conahan of your group on a religious liberty issue, providing for additional rights with respect to required religious festivals for students in the public schools, community colleges, and the 16 campuses of the University of North Carolina. We've done a couple of things this year that may be of interest to you as voters and citizens. For too long, we have only had school choice at the college level and at the preschool level, but have required everyone at the kindergarten through 12th grade level who wants any help for education to do so at his or her own expense. And you know that many parents think that they should control their children's education ultimately, while the state lends a helping role financially and with the provision of public schools for those who want it. But we've done a couple of things, expanded the use of charter schools, which many of you are familiar with, but also with respect to children with special needs, empowered parents to provide their child with the best, most appropriate education, even if it's outside the public school network, by assistance from the state of North Carolina to give additional choices to parents. Another thing we've done is we have reduced the tax burden and the regulatory burden so that you can actually do business in the state without being strangled. Finally, I invite you to vote on May 8th in whichever party you're registered. And when you're there, please take a look at a constitutional amendment regarding marriage. You know that around the nation, the institution of marriage between a man and a woman has been under attack, and North Carolina is the only southern state without any constitutional protection for that. And if you believe that marriage should be between a man and a woman, you will have the opportunity to put that in our Constitution so that we do not have the phenomena of man and man being considered a marriage. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you today. I've brought my mother with me, and perhaps we'll get a chance during dinner to speak with you. Thank you very much.